Bam Adebayo is one of the NBA's brightest stars. He's coming off of an NBA Finals appearance at only 23 years old, where he showcased his incredible talent. He warranted multiple Most Improved Player votes over last season. He actually didn't win. Brandon Ingram was the winner of last year's Most Improved Player award. But other than that, Bam Adebayo is sweeping the board when it comes to improvement each year. He's drastically improved since his rookie season. He's done it every single year. His recent 41-point performance warrants this video. I was extremely impressed with that game and the way that he scored his points. And today, I wanted to talk about who I think he is as a player, the potential he has, and honestly, just in general, how good of a player I think he can be. So, before I get all the way into that, please do like and subscribe if you enjoy. We try and get 2 to 3 NBA and NFL videos out per week, and it really helps us a lot when you just hit the big red button and like the video. If you're not one of those guys who likes videos, I'm just asking, man. Please just hit the button. It's so easy, and you probably will forget that you even liked the video after a day. So, without further ado, please let's get into Bam Adebayo. So, Bam Adebayo is 23 years old. He's a center for the Heat, and he played at Kentucky for college. He was touted as a defensive player coming into the draft and not necessarily the biggest offensive threat. In a very small sample size this year, only 13 games, Bam is averaging 20 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 86% from the charity stripe, which is great for him. That is an incredibly important part of his game, especially when it comes to late in games, clutch shooting, all of that. He's averaging a block per game and, unfortunately, 3.3 turnovers per game. That happens when you're playing 33 minutes a game and you're given a lot of the ball handling responsibilities. He's also, in my opinion, the most impressive thing about this whole statistical rampage is 61% of his shots are going in. 61. That's crazy. I know it's only 13 games, but 13 games in, most players aren't shooting 61% on 12 shots a game. That's crazy. And you might ask, oh yeah, he's a center. Those are probably all layups, all dunks, whatever. No. 33% of Bam's shots are coming within 0 to 3 feet from the basket. So layups, dunks, all of that. All the stuff you see on the glass and putbacks, all of it, that's 0 to 3 feet. 33% of those shots, that's where he's taking them. He's making 85% of those shots, so an incredibly efficient clip there. Then he's taking 26% of his shots 3 to 10 feet. So hook shots, floaters, even the occasional mid-range pull-up. He's making 45% of those. Bam is only shooting under 48% from the floor from one spot. That's 16 feet to three-point line. So anywhere in between that, he's shooting 48%. Then the 3 through 10 feet, like I just said, he's shooting 45%. But a lot of his shots are coming from there, so that's understandable, Like, he's not taking 2-3 shots per game. He's taking 26% of his 12 shots. He is shooting in an incredibly impressive clip. He's also a defensive beast. I mean, just look at the Jason Tatum block from the playoffs last year. An incredibly clutch play in an incredibly tough situation with a top 15 NBA player coming at you with a wind-up dunk in the playoffs, and you absolutely swat it. The confidence, the defensive awareness, the defensive presence he has is one of the most impressive from any of these young stars we have. He, in my opinion, is probably, I don't want to say that, obviously he's not the best young center because Joel and Nikola aren't old, but they're not young. But when you're talking 3rd, 4-year players, he's the best center from that category. Bam is an incredibly athletic player as well. One of the biggest strengths for him, for me, is that when people attack the Heat, they can't just take advantage of the center switching. So most of the time, like you watch Rudy Gobert, it's hard for Rudy to acclimate to the switch. So he'll get switched onto a smaller guy, a faster guy, and then the pick and roll will work every time. Or the smaller guy will just cook Rudy. Bam is so athletic and just so agile and fast, it doesn't work on him. The opposing team puts a smaller guy there, and Bam can guard him. He can guard 1 through 5. He's an incredible defender. I can't stress that enough. Offense is an extremely fun part of the game, and it's definitely what most people pay attention to. But a lot of people, I think, forget that defense is as important as it is, and Bam is excelling at every aspect of defense, especially when you're 6'9" and you're a center and you weigh as much as he does, and you're given as much playing time as he is. And oh man, he's so good. I love to watch him play. This 41-point game he recently had was also extremely impressive because when you're watching that game, you're seeing that most of Bam's shots are coming from mid-range pull-ups. 2 years ago, that's not something he did. He didn't just pull up for mid-range. He is absolutely lighting it up from 3 to 10. I know he's shooting 45%. Crazy. I know 13 games is not a lot to go off of, and it's obviously going to be an overreaction for anybody I was to talk about this season. But damn, is it really fun to watch Bam just hit him with a jab fake and then shoot the mid-range and makes it. Man, like, he makes it every time. He'll be sitting there, and the best part about it is that the defender has to worry about him driving because he's so fast and big and strong for his size, and at the same time, the defender also has to worry about his mid-range pull-up. What do? You'd rather have him take the mid-range pull-up than get to the basket, right? But if he's making the mid-range pull-up, then what do? You have to have an elite defender on him like Giannis or Gobert or somebody big and strong and fast enough to match his agility. And there aren't a ton of guys like that in the NBA. So, to talk about Bam as a future player, he is one of a few players that has the potential to be an MVP Defensive Player of the Year guy if he keeps it up. Bam needs to score a little bit more, but other than that, every aspect of his game is working just fine, except for his three-point shot. And I'd love for him to develop something. I don't care if he shoots 33% from three. Chuck him up, Bam. Get your defenders scared of that three-point shot. And if you can nail them in clutch situations, if you can at least be competent enough to scare the defense, that opens up a variety of possibilities for your offense to work and to work efficiently in clutch situations. If they know that they can get you the ball and you can make it, man, game over. Bam is going to be elite. It's the same thing we talk about with Giannis. Could you imagine if Giannis had a respectable shot? People are leaving him wide open and he's airballing it. Same with Ben Simmons. If they can just scare him a little bit, get that defense to come up a little bit more, it makes it much easier to get to the basket and much easier to play make for your teammates around the basket. Bam is an incredibly smart player. He's averaging 6 assists per game. He's obviously one of the better playmaking centers in the NBA. He's nowhere near Jokic playmaking ability, but he's damn near second place when it comes to a playmaker as a center. So, another small weakness in Bam's game, in my opinion, is that his low post scoring, I think, needs to improve a little bit. He doesn't necessarily, dominate down low, especially for a center. I think that he has to have the ability to absolutely shred the other player, and that kind of comes with him only being 6'9". He's not the biggest player, and when you're going against Joel Embiid or somebody like that, even big guys like Boban Marjanovic, it's hard to score down low if you aren't powering yourself down there, especially as a center of Bam's caliber. He can't rely on that outside shot to save him in every situation. It won't fall every time. I'd like to see him get a little bit better at, asserting his dominance down low and forcing the other team to watch out for that aspect of his game, because I don't think he utilizes it nearly enough. And I also think that he should probably be shooting a little bit more from the line. That comes with just being a little bit more aggressive down low. And in general, more aggressive as a scorer. I think that Bam's an incredibly talented scorer, but I don't think he necessarily uses it as much as he should. So With all that said, I'm obviously not projecting Bam to win MVP and Defensive Player of the Year anytime soon. That is the caliber of player he is. I think that is his absolute ceiling. MVP, Defensive Player of the Year. That's basically no ceiling. Because if you have that ceiling, man, his floor is also extremely high. I only think that there's upwards movement for Bam from here. I think that maybe if he can't develop anything else when it comes to shooting, he might start to teeter off a little bit and find his prime and find his level that he needs to be on, and that's as good as he might ever be. Is that Defensive Player of the Year candidate? Is that MVP candidate? We don't necessarily know that yet. But watching him play, seeing his talent, his scoring ability, his playmaking ability, his defensive ability, man, Bam is going to be great for years to come, barring any injuries, and I'm extremely excited to see what he can do on the Miami Heat. He also just got a bag, which is really good for the Heat. I know that some people were a little skeptical, that's a lot of money, especially for a guy who hasn't proven himself. That's exactly what they needed to do. They didn't have to overpay for him. I think that they did at the time maybe, but right now Bam is an electric player to watch, and I'm extremely happy for him. And I can't wait to see what he does with the Heat for years to come. So, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please do like and subscribe. It helps us so much when you do that. Thank you again. Please comment anything you have to say in the comments. I'd love to talk with anybody, have a discussion. If you disagree with any of my points, please let me know, and we can have a nice, friendly discussion. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.